Combat cards are any card that have the Civil War Commander star on it. So all those cards are going to be for special combat qualities when you place the flag next to the commander. So basically you have the card, as it's already been explained, and you play it. This one is for Campesino or Mera. So if you have this card and you want to use that quality for either of those mentioned commanders, you would play the card, place the star flag next to the commander and his army, and then you can use that specific quality in combat to enhance his fighting abilities. So the combat card will always have the name of the officers that it can be used for. Varela and Yagüe have the attack quality, Lister, Miaja, for example, have the defense quality, and so on. As explained in the commander cards video, the other way you can use qualities is simply by having that commander's card. And if he has a quality, for example, if you have this card, and Rafael Garcia Malino does have the M quality, which is maneuverability, then you can use that for his command. The difference between having, for example, Rafael's card and using it is that you can only use that quality for him. For example, Castejon, you can use the speed quality just for him. But if you have the speed card, which is the combat card, you can use it for any commander that you have. Castejon or Davila, they both have speed qualities, so you can use it for either one. So this gives you a chance to use that for any commander that has that quality. While the commander card, if he does have a quality, it's only for him. But of course, commander cards, as explained before, have different advantages, such as reinforcing, taking out of probation, and promoting. Of course, you do not need to have the commander card to play a combat card. Just the combat card itself will be enough. So we'll start with the attack quality. There is one for red, one for blue. The red is for these three commanders, Lister, Modesto, and Rojo, and the blue is for Varela and Yagüe. What the attack quality allows you to do is to use the full dice roll for the attack with no fraction. So if Lister, for example, here is attacking, you can see that he has 3 for the commander and 4 for the army that he commands. He does not need to use the fraction dice to roll. So he will roll without the fraction dice for the full result. So he would have gotten a 5. No fraction needed. The defense card is the same. There's only one for the Reds and for Lister and Miaja. So they have the defense quality. So when they are defending, so if Miaja, for example, is under attack in Madrid, he's got 2 plus 5 and the reinforcement, that's another 5. So 12. And he can use that 12 without having to roll the fraction dice, and just use the full 6 roll, for example, here as the result. In Miaja's case, that's one of the reasons you probably want to keep his card as much as possible, because if Madrid is under attack, you can, and if he's commanding there, for example, and in defense, you can always put that card for defense. It's a good way to ensure that Madrid is never falls on enemy hands. Well, there's less of a chance of that. The experience combat quality card belongs to basically Casado or Mola. What this allows you to do before a battle is, whether you're attacking or defending, doesn't matter what kind of battle it is. The Reds could be attacking Mola instead. Whichever the situation, you take the combat factor, 2 plus 4 equals 6, for example. Or let's just say he has artillery already supporting. Let's just say he has 8, right? 8 combat factor. And before the battle takes place, you roll a 3, and you add the result to the combat factor for free. So you paid for an 8, and now you have 10 total combat factor to fight with. This is the logistics quality card, and that only belongs to Miaja or Franco. It basically allows you not to have to pay for combat in one battle for that command, for that commander. So if, for example, Franco is attacking anybody, he could be attacking Miaja, he could be attacking, whether he is in attack or he's in a defense, whichever the situation, that commander, when you play the logistics card, you would have always put the star there, And now when it's time for battle, he doesn't have to pay for anything for that. So if he's using the Condor Legion, if this was here, he would be able to also use this. So 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 times 1, 2. So he's got 15. And with these 24, complete combat factor of 24, and he doesn't have to pay for any of it, especially at the end of the war. Miaja can do the same thing. Miaja has that quality. They're the only two that do. And this is reflective of history, of course. These were the top guys in the war, and so they have access to more resources, more political clout, and so forth. It's reflected here. It's particularly good when you are running low on resources at a battle. It doesn't even have to be at the end of the war. Sometimes there's been a lot of fighting, and you just cannot raise more finance because your position is on the closed here. That means you've already exchanged some of what you have here for finance points, and you can't do it again that turn. That's why it's closed. Your credit might be depleted and you can't access that, and suddenly you really want to do that battle, but you don't have the money for the rest of the turn. So, and you don't have any country cards to help you right now for that, for any foreign aid. So it might be really useful to not pay for that battle. And that is the logistics quality. One of the more underrated quality cards is the Maneuverability Combat quality. So that one there is good for only two officers, Asensio and Valigno. When these commanders are engaged in battle, just before the battle, whether they are attacking or whether they're defending, either scenario, they are able to bring a support unit from anywhere. So they could bring this one here to support it, or a tank unit to support it. And this is useful. It's a bit underrated because sometimes you are in a situation where you've already paid for your, you've already done your actions. You placed your triangle, and or the enemy is attacking you, and you've moved all your pieces. So now it's time to resolve combat. And when you're about to resolve combat, you can't really do anything else except use the units that are close to you, or bring in at least one single aircraft to support. But other than that, you can't really bring anything else. And what the maneuverability quality allows you to do is to look for a unit and use it for support. So for example, you could bring this unit here for free over there just before combat. Ordinarily this would cost you, as long as there is the free route towards it. Now these roads here are blocked, of course, so you would have to go through here. This is free. But ordinarily you'd have to pay a lot. You'd have to pay 1, and then because you're off the roads, you'd have to pay 2, 3, and 4 to use that. And in this case, just before combat, without the enemy expecting it, you would bring it in there with no problem. Or a tank, even if it's very far away from, like over there, as long as there's a free unimpeded route towards it, usually there is. You'd have to really block this off. You could bring it in there. So it's very powerful. But we usually don't think about it because we're always so focused on attack and defense and points and money that we don't think on little things like that. The Notoriety Combat card allows you to roll D3 just before combat and subtract that from the enemy's CF. It's similar. It's the reverse of the experience. This is for Buruaga and Yagüe. So if Buruaga is here and he is, we've used the card and it's now time for combat, ordinarily he would have 1 CF for the commander and 4 for this, so that's 5, unless there's other modifiers as well. And the enemy has 2 CF. He can roll 1, and now the enemy only has 1 CF to defend himself. If the enemy was using the aircraft, then it would be 3 plus 2, that the enemy would have 5 in defense, and now they would have 4. If you had rolled a 3, then 5 minus 3 equals 2, then they would only have 2. So that's how it works. The enemy has already paid for the 5 CF, but they can only use the reduced after they rolled for the notoriety. And that's available for Buruaga and Yagüe because these were the guys that were, more notorious, especially Yagüe. The political quality is one that is only available for the Blues and only for Franco. This is the only commander that has this combat quality. And it allows you to put one reinforcement unit under any regular units. And this includes a regular unit that is Franco's or another commander. So for example, Franco has these units here, and he can place one there or any commander in the game at all. Doesn't matter who. What's interesting about this, though, is that the card states no limit, which means that even if the commander is already at full capacity, for example, the Army of the Center allows for 4, as you can see the green number, 4 layers. So that includes this one plus 3 of these. So it is already at full capacity. It's got 3 reinforcements plus 1. Now, what the political card allows you to do is to actually place a reinforcement regardless of the limit. So now, this is the most powerful army that has ever been assembled probably in the game. You have the Army of the Center with 5 layers. And since each one is 5 CFs, that's 25 CF in a single army. I don't recall ever playing that. It's unprecedented and it's really rare, but it can come really handy, especially if you're going against Madrid. I mean, most of the battles on average are between 10, 15, 20 CFs for the battle. Here you have 25 CFs on a single army. But anyway, that's what it allows you to do. So you could place that there, or you can place the only time this allows you to place it in any commander, you could place that under a Davila as well, for example, or any other guy. Even if that commander has already full stack allowed by the green number, you're able to put one extra one on this case. And it's basically Franco's political clout that, commander-in-chief and in total control of the nationalists, Spain and army as the caudillo that allows him to do that. The last commander combat quality that we have is speed. That's available in red and blue, in the blue for Castellón and Davila, and in the red for Campesino and Mera. If you have chosen to use the combat card, what the speed quality allows you to do is to attack right away. So let's just say this is particularly useful when you are the first player on that round. If you have the initiative and you are going to move all your units that you want to through the cards, and then the round is going to be continued by your opponent, the blue in this case. However, by using the speed card, you attack right away without needing to place a triangle. So you would move, let's just say you would move here to Teruel, against Teruel here, and you don't even need to place a triangle. Just add up the CFs, 2 versus 5, perhaps versus 7. Attack right away, resolve this combat before your opponent can even play his round. This is really only useful if you are the first player in the round. If you're the second, well, your opponent has already moved. The last quality for combat card that you have available is only available to the Reds, which is the Fleet Sortie. This is not linked to any commander because this is for sea action. The Blues don't have this, the Reds do, because the Spanish Republican Navy was initially at an advantage. It was more numerous and a little bit more powerful at the beginning at least. So what this card allows you to do is to sortie a number of ships without being intercepted. As the naval action video explains, when you sortie ships, you choose any card that you want. This one is a 5. You would play it, pay, and then you could sortie 5 naval units. But you have to sortie them here first and then give your enemy a chance to intercept them. So when he has his turn to play, if he wants, he can play a naval card of his own and then meet your ships here. If you win the battle, he removes his ships, and whatever ships you have left, you can then go and go for your missions of intercepting convoys or what have you. So what this card allows you to do is, instead of that, you roll a 6, and whatever the result is, 4, you are able to choose 4 naval units, And instead of having to go there where they can be intercepted or any other C zone, you take them directly to the missions. So you could put them where the enemy can no longer intercept them. And that's all for the combat quality cards. Now remember that the combat cards are the ones that have that little star, and to use them you play the card, and if it's for that particular commander, you must place the flag next to the commander so that you know that when it comes time for combat, you can use that quality. It's a reminder and to notify. And there's only 3 such flags in the game, so whoever gets to them first can use them for that round or turn. Once you've used the quality, then you do the combat and you remove the flag so it's available again. Also remember that the qualities are also available if you play the commander card on itself. So it's not a combat card, but the quality, if the commander does have that quality, it's there and you can use that then. So there's 2 ways of playing combat qualities: by using the commander card, and there's lots of them that have these qualities, or by playing the card itself that applies to any commander mentioned.